Hi, everyone. Yeah, technical difficulties. That should be it. So the yes, okay. So it's now being recorded. So to back up a little bit, my name's Stacey Russell. I'm with Fredericton Tourism. I manage Fredericton Tourism's digital media strategy, which means that we do an awful lot of advertising on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and through other channels. For today's webinar, we will focus on Facebook, and as I mentioned a bit earlier here, it will be recorded. So sit back, let your imaginations run wild with all the different possibilities of this. The slides can be available later if you'd like. There's going to be a lot of screenshots today. I thought that would be the easiest way for me to be able to kind of lead everyone through it. So with that, we'll get started. And let me just figure out how to switch the slide. Bear with me. Well, the day of technical difficulties is today. Just one second, everyone. Okay, so we're all set. I promise, all good from now on. So Facebook 101. So today's agenda, first off, a Facebook algorithm. We covered that in last month's webinar, but it is worth kind of talking it out again because I think there's some new people that are on today's webinar, and it'll be brief. Boosted post. I've got to guess that the majority of the people on today's webinar, that's really where your focus is. So we are going to touch on that of what a boosted post is, the pros and cons, and then where to take it to the next level, and that being Ad Create tool. So we're going to have some fun in the Ad Create tool today. Well, as much fun as one can have. So, and then we're going to really, I decided for this webinar, I wanted to drill down to the audiences, because really what it comes down to is we can talk all you want about Facebook advertising, but if you're not actually spending your money the best way possible and really reaching those right people, then well, you're burning through, you're wasting your money, and that's the last thing we want. Now, some of you may notice that the Power Editor tool is missing on this. I would consider that more of an advanced level of Facebook advertising. So for today's webinar, we're sticking with intermediate. If there is enough of an interest that people want to get talking about the Power Editor tool, well, by all means, let the Fredericton Chamber know, and maybe we do another webinar at a future date. So we'll get started. First off, Facebook algorithm. I always joke around because I call this, ultimately it's the Cadbury secret, because nobody knows how the Facebook algorithm, how Facebook determines what's going to end up on your news feed. I'm sure we've all realized that there's certain things that you're seeing in your news feed, and you start realizing that, how come I haven't seen this friend's updates lately, or how come I haven't seen a post from this company or this place that I visited last year? The big reason for it is if you have not engaged with them, meaning commenting, liking, sharing any of their content, then as far as Facebook's concerned, you're not interested in them anymore. So it's not going to show up in your newsfeed. So you can imagine how difficult that could be for, first of all, an annual event like Harvest Jazz and Blues Festival, for example, where they're once a year. So they need to make sure that they stay active in their news feeds, just so that their fans are remembering them and whatnot. So that is all very important. And then, of course, that daunting 6% number. I remember, so it's roughly 6% of your fans are actually being reached in the newsfeed. I remember when it just had reached under 20, and I thought it was the end of the world. And then it went down to 12, and now it's down to 6. So yeah, all the more reason that you need to make sure that you're engaging your fans as much as possible. Thousands of factors are considered by Facebook on choosing what to display. Once again, Cadbury's secret, we don't know what they are. It's constantly changing. I can tell you first off, though, that Facebook Live carries quite a bit of weight right now in the news feed. So if you're doing anything or you're thinking about video, that's definitely something to consider. And another thing, too, is, and this is important as we start talking here next about Facebook advertising, is only 60% of Facebook users are on daily. So even if you are going to make the jump, either the jump or you are advertising already, don't assume that you're going to reach 100% of your fans, because they're just not always online. So let's go right into the boosted posts, which, like I said, I'm assuming that most people on this webinar have done before. So the boosted post is you know, when you've done a post on your page and Facebook is really trying to get you to spend some money. It's saying that this post is doing 80%, 90%, et cetera, better than any other post. Why don't you boost it? Well, how can you resist? So anyway, it's extremely easy. They've made it convenient for you just to click that button and go away and boost it. So what I'm showing here is what everyone would see if they clicked on the boost post. So you see here that you can you can reach people who've liked your page, people who've liked your page and your friends, people that you choose through targeting. That targeting would be through locations, age, etc. We're going to get into that a little bit more detail here on the next slide. So as we said, people who like your page, etc., going down the line. You're targeting location, age, gender, interests, saved audiences, which you'll see later here. We'll cover that. Total budget and duration. Well, to most people, that's not bad, you know. You can reach a lot of people. Facebook, this has changed dramatically over the last couple of years where you can now target much better with Boost. But you're going to see very quickly there are some limitations to it as well. So first off, you can't set an objective. So also you're boosting that post, but say that's not what you wanted. Maybe you wanted more fans to your page. Maybe you wanted people to enter for a contest. Maybe you wanted them to do something else. You can't control the placement. A boosted post will automatically go in the newsfeed. You can't put it on the side. You don't have any kind of control. You can't put it over to Instagram. You can't do anything like that. You can't control the days of the week. It's funny when we start drilling down on all these items, eh? It's things that you probably never considered before. So, for example, you might only decide that maybe your fans are most active on the weekends. Well, you can't control, or maybe it's that they're active on Fridays and Sundays, but not Saturdays. You can't skip a day. You can't create multiple ad sets. For most people that wouldn't matter, but it is important to consider. So you're split testing, maybe being able to see if one photo works better than another. So having an A and B ads to be able to determine which one's better and then push more money towards whichever of the two. And you can't add a call to action button, which is really big as well. So, well, without further ado, let's move into the Ad Create tool. So first off, the Ad Create tool, it allows you to set a campaign objective, which we'll start going through. It gives you full scheduling, which is a really great feature. Full targeting and exclusions, full placement options, full ad creation options as well. So how to get to the Ad Create tool? Well, when I was trying to pull this screenshot, honestly, there's so many different ways because who are we kidding? Facebook wants you to spend money. So there's lots of different spots that have create ads. The one I've chosen is that top arrow on the top right of your Facebook. Just click on that and scroll down and you'll see a create ads button there. Once you get that, you're going to be asked, what's your marketing objective? So for this example, I've chosen, so I think I have a slide to tell you. We're going to promote the page. So that tends to be what a lot of people want, is they want to be able to pick up more fans for their Facebook page. So this is the first example that we're going to give you. The great thing too with this Ad Create tool is it's going to give you the metrics afterwards. So you're running the ad, but then your metrics are going to default to the objective. So in this situation, it's going to actually tell you how many likes you picked up based on this ad. So first off, as you saw, that first arrow, promote your page. Second arrow, because I apologize, I don't know if you can see when I move my mouse or not, so we'll do a little bit of both. The campaign name is very important. Trust me, if you don't start naming your ads appropriately, it starts to get confusing when you want to see your metrics or how everything's going. So, or if you need to make any updates. So yes, promote your page. So I've chosen to promote the Fredericton Tourism page. The audience is, we will get down to that in a further example, but what I wanted to give here is that second arrow is include. So I'm going to, in this situation, I'm not going to pick an actual audience. I'm going to instead choose it by geographic location. So I'm going to choose Fredericton, and I would just type Fredericton in there, which will then lead me to the this next screen. So you can see on your right the audience definition. So this is based on what I've put in on the left. So I've chosen an age of 24 to 55. All of this is dictated by the insights on your Facebook business page. So that's important to be able to watch that, see what are the age of your fans, what are the age of the most engaged fans, what's the sex of them, what's the what location are they from, etc. So use that, and especially too, you'll start to see where it's important under the scheduling, which we're going to hit next. So we've chosen Fredericton. We've gone entertainment and entertainment, New Brunswick, and tourism. So it's giving me a potential reach of 38,000. You can see on the far right. Now, what I've done though, and this is extremely important, is that bottom arrow is I want to exclude anybody who already likes the Fredericton Tourism Facebook page. I've seen this time and time again where people miss that part. So just think of it. So you're spending, I don't know, 50 bucks to promote your page for people to like it, and you're doing that to fans who you've already converted. So you've just literally you're burning your money. So it's an easy mistake. It can be made, but now I've told you, so you don't have an excuse. So make sure to exclude your fans. And keep in mind, so you see that potential reach 38,000 right now. So so what I've done now is I wanted to be able to show this because there's an awful lot of people that are starting to create event pages. So you also have the choice here under connections. That's your first arrow. I've actually gone in, we've created an event for New Year's Eve. So there is an event page of people that have been engaged with that page. We can actually target that group. So think about that as well. When you have all these, when your business is doing events, there's lots of different ways that you can strategically now reach those people, convert them over to fans. Now, an important item to keep in mind though, it does not work for past events. Trust me, I've tried. So you have to make sure that you get these posts up before your event actually ends. So I can think of many attendees here that are on the call that have multiple event pages on the go. Here's another way to reach them and convert them so that once your event is over, you still keep them as fans of your page. But now keep in mind, because I've also done that and drilled down to, because at this point now I'm only targeting Frederictonians who have an interest in New Year's in Fredericton. So that 38,000 you would have seen on the previous screen has now moved to 1,000, which you're seeing near the bottom right of the screen. So, and then as well, there's remember I told you that you can control where your ad is going to run. This is new for Facebook. By the way, if you haven't realized it already, which I'm sure you already know, give it a week or so. Facebook is constantly changing everything within their ad create tools, everything around Facebook. So there's always changes. So one of the big ones that I noticed when I came in to do this webinar was there's automatic placements now. So they're choosing where to, where's the best spot to run your ad, whether it be right, newsfeed, etc. Your budget. It will automatically default to a daily budget. Of course they do. They want to have, they want to be able to get as much money as possible. For myself, I usually pick a lifetime budget. I want to be able to plan accordingly. So I'll generally pick a lifetime budget, and I will set a start and end date for our ads. If we feel that it's running really well, you can always add more time to it after. But it's nice to be able to budget appropriately. Ours, for Fredericton Tourism, it defaults to a US dollar. I've seen it go both US and Canadian. And then the last arrow is about the schedule. And this would be one of almost my favorite features about the Ad Create tool. So as you can see here, if I choose to run an ad on schedule, I can actually choose exactly when those ads are going to run. So it's not going to run 24 hours a day. It's not going to be running at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's going, I've targeted exactly the highest peak times of when our fans are on our pages. This is just an example. These aren't specific to Fredericton Tourism, but it's just kind of showing you morning traffic, noon, and then evenings, and then perhaps you can even leave a day completely off. You can decide to run, you know, Tuesdays, Thursdays. So there's all sorts of it's completely up to you, which is great, and it's specific to that fan's local time. So for example, if you are targeting Ontario market and you've put 9 to 10, it's 9 to 10 Eastern time. So just something to kind of keep in mind. Now we've moved on, so we're still in the ad create tool. We're still creating our promote page ad, and I wanted to point out the image size spec. So I've chosen in this situation a single image for the for this ad. That's arrow number 1. Arrow number 2 is the sizing, which is very important. I mean, Facebook does a great job of making sure to point it out to you. Is 1200 by 444. And you need to make sure that that your image is that. You can see from my screenshot that that one currently is not. It'll show what the size of my image is, which is great. So then I know of, okay, I've got to X out that image and add one that is the appropriate size. If you're wondering where one can size images, we use IRFanView. It's IRFANVIEW. And it's free. It's a free tool, and it's easy to resize images that way. But there's also lots of other ways. So continuing down, you can see we can change updates. We can determine what text we want to post there. However, because it's a promote your page objective, there's limited character options. So you can see I've highlighted what got missed in the actual ad because there's just not enough character space to be able to put all that in. But then you can also control your headline, your information that's going there, and you can see there's a call to action for like the page. Easy peasy, simple as that. So I'm not seeing any questions, so I'm feeling like this might be a good sign. So we'll keep moving. So ad create tool, custom audiences. So basically what I've done is I've given you a little sneak peek of the ad create tool, but for us to really go deeper into this, I want to highlight, in some ways I want to scare you because it's really a big brother moment as well, but I want to show you some really cool functionalities of Facebook and how you can drill down to reach your audience and what they can, what this system can do. So first off, why do we want to create custom audiences? Well, it goes for all advertising. Targeting is critical. So it's one thing, you can advertise in the paper, we all do, but that is reaching a very broad audience. As you're going to see in this situation, you can drill down to actually reach your specific customers. Those who've bought or have opted in, that have made a decision that they like your business, this is your opportunity to be able to reach back out to them. There's also, as you'll see here, opportunities to be able to reach similar interest sets. You can exclude people. There's all sorts of different ways. But it also gives you the opportunity to upsell and cross-sell, which we're going to get into as well. So today for custom audiences, we're going to talk about a website custom audience, email custom audience. This one was new for me creating this presentation, an engagement audience, as well as a lookalike audience. So first off, we are going to hit a website custom audience. But before I go to my next slide, I know everybody's experienced this, especially with the holidays coming up. So you're surfing the web, and you're looking, you're buying, you're thinking about buying a couple things. So maybe here I'll use my example of I was on the Sport Chek website. It's fall, I need a new jacket. So so I was taking a peek at a couple jackets, and got called away or something. Just closed down the page and continued on with doing other things. Well, next time I was on Facebook, this came up. So Sport Chek isn't exactly discreet about their target ads. But, so basically, what's happened is Sport Chek has a website pixel on their website. The website pixels are unique to each individual website. So in Sport Chek's situation, they saw that I was on, and I wasn't looking at that specific jacket, but women's jackets. And so then they used Facebook advertising to target me, so just kind of to give me that little nudge to see if I might be interested in going back and buying it. So I'm going to show you today how this can be done. Maybe not as well, you can decide your own messaging, but how you can kind of reach those customers that you might not have converted yet. So for a website custom audience, first off is going back to that create ad on the top right where I'd said the pull down, so create ads. So you can see you'd have gotten that. Then you click on audiences. or sorry, you create on all tools, then you click on audiences. Because this will, I will warn you on this one. This is the only item that's actually going to take a little bit of help from your website team. You're looking at, I don't know, $50 to $100 because there's a coding issue here. I'm going to show you how much that's worth it though. So you click on that, you get this button. It'll actually give you the opportunity to be able to create a what's called a web remarketing pixel. If anybody wants to Google it, there'll be there's further instructions on how to do it there. But ultimately, by clicking on that blue button, you're provided with the code. So this code is what you would provide to your web developer. Ours is blacked out here just because, like I said, everyone is unique to your own individual website. But this is extremely important. Like I said, it's a very small investment, but it gives you an awful lot. It tells you about who's visiting your website and how you can further reach them on advertising. So continuing on with that now. Last screen was you provided to your web developer. Once your web developer has done this for you, then you're back into Facebook and you can create your audience. So this one, it's awful. Now I know when I'm a social media geek because I actually got really excited by all these. It's awful. But so of who you can reach through this. So in this example, it's website traffic. Anybody who's visited your website. You have the opportunity of including people who visited any page, so you could put that information on there. And I believe I have that as another screenshot. And in your default 30 days, you can actually just so you know increase that to up to 180 days. I think what I meant when I put this screenshot in was the importance as well of making sure that you name your audience correctly. So in this situation, we've put Fredericton Tourism Custom Audience. We could have probably even drilled down more than that. So, okay, here's the one I was talking about. So now this is, for Fredericton Tourism, we're looking ahead at Frostival and different events that are going on. So we're drilling this one down to people who visit the website, but specifically to URLs that contain one of these words, events or Frostival. So then as we get into, as we want to be able to promote Frostival in this situation, we have a specific custom audience that we could use. But there's more. You can actually also exclude people. So let's use the example of somebody who, how about this? So let's pretend your website, let's say your website has the ability to be able to purchase online. So you're going to go after people who have visited your website, but maybe you weren't able to convert them. Maybe you didn't get that sale. So, however, if you had gotten the sale, they would have gotten a thank you page. So you think of it, somebody's gone on your website, they've made the purchase, then there's that last page that kind of pops up that says thank you, etc. What you can do in this situation is you can put anybody who's visited your website, but exclude anybody who got the thank you page, because the thank you page means you already converted them. So I hope you're following where I'm going with that. Is that it's your way of being able to. These are people that have come to your doorstep. These are people that have walked in your door, and they've been on, like, they know your business. These are the people that you should be advertising to because it's so close to being able to either convert a sale now or continue that relationship. So this one's a different one in the sense of that. So you're targeting people who have visited your website but haven't been back in 30 days. So I should clarify too, each one of these slides is a different audience. It's what I'm just trying to do here is to give you, to have you think about all of the different groups of people that you could reach. So in this situation, it's people that have visited your page, haven't been back in 30 days. So, you know, like I said, it's that little jive. It's that sport check item, but maybe a little bit more discreet. It's just to remind them that you're out there. Website custom audiences. Here's some resources that are great. As I said, you can Google it, or you can go straight to johnloomer.com. You've got the URL there. The other item too that's worth mentioning is if you're going to make that, as I said, very small investment for website pixels, I would do the exact same thing for Twitter. So because yes, you can also target through Twitter ads as well. So it's if you Google it, you'll see the instructions on it. It will also provide you with a tracking pixel, and your developer can put both in at the same time. Easy peasy. Email custom audiences. So did you know that you can actually use your email list to reach Facebook users? It's kind of cool, kind of creepy at the same time, and exciting. You can target them. This is actually, I was surprised when prepping this presentation. I was actually delighted prepping this presentation because it's actually not even just email anymore, it's data, which we're going to get into in a second here. So targeting people with Facebook ads who are on your customer list. You can reach those who've opted in, or they've subscribed, or they've made a purchase. So by me saying made a purchase means that they've provided you with their email address, any of their contact information, which we're going to get into. One thing, and I can't stress this enough, and I'll probably say it a couple times in this section of the webinar, is ensure that you are abiding to the anti-spam guidelines on this. So you need to make sure that you have their permission. So this would be your email list. It should go without saying anyway. Your email list is only based on those who've provided permission. That would be the same list that you'd be uploading for this in this situation for Facebook. And this is free. This is not going to involve any web developer or anything. This is something you could do this afternoon. So how do you do it? Well, I'm going to walk you through it here in a second, but you're uploading your list to Facebook. Facebook will match the data to current users. So think about that. Now, you have an email address attached to your Facebook account. So that's ultimately what they're doing here is we're uploading email addresses, and Facebook is matching to see which ones they can find accounts for. With that, though, obviously it goes without saying, it's probably about a 50% rate because people might not be using the same email address anymore that they would have when they created their Facebook account, or et cetera. So it's about 50% of your email list, what I'm finding anyway, will tend to transfer over in this situation. And then, as you'll see, you'll be able to target through this. So email custom list, so you go into that page, it's always the first start again, audiences. So you're clicking on audiences this time again, and you instead, in the pull down menu, you're going to check custom audience. And you have the choice here, as you see, customer file, website traffic, app activity engagement on Facebook. So you're going to choose customer file. Now, there's two choices here. You can upload the file directly, or if you use MailChimp, they make it very easy. It's just a click of the button, and it'll pull it all from MailChimp for you, which is what we use for Fredericton Tourism. MailChimp, it's an email program. So, but in this situation, I'm choosing the choose a file or copy and paste data option. So I'm not sure how well you can see this slide or not, but this is the part that, like I said, I just got so excited when I saw it because I didn't realize how many more data sets they compare to now. So as you can see, there's email, phone number, first name, last name, zip, postal code, age, gender, year of birth, date of birth, country. There's all sorts of different items on here. So even if you don't have a email address, there's a chance that Facebook may be able to find that customer another way. So you think of your databases that you have right now and what could be done with it. There's all sorts of different opportunities, the possibilities, like even year of birth and your date of birth. You can have a special, you could even be doing special ads for birthday months, for example, targeted towards, May birthdays or whatever month that is. Like yeah, it's really, what I'm doing today is I just want to get you thinking about it. We're not going to get into the strategies because it's a lot more than the 1 hour allocated, but what I'm trying to do here is just to get the mind going of all the different possibilities that you have by doing this. So then once you've done it, you have under the Ad Create tool, which we'll go through a couple more examples and we'll run through creating a couple more ads. But on the very first one I showed you of Facebook page likes, we avoided this custom audience and went straight to just saying Frederictonians. Well, now you would actually have, if you clicked on custom audiences, if you've already created one of those email lists, it'll give you the list there of how many, of which ones to choose from. Once again, goes without saying, name them appropriately or else it'll drive you crazy of which audience is who. But in this situation here, this example I've provided you with is because we also have our web pixel going. So we could choose to advertise to website visitors, and then we have a couple customer lists that you can see from the pull down. Now, what's also neat here is that you can also exclude. So you can include, so maybe you're not ready for web pixels. So you can still use your email addresses. So let's use an example of, let me think here. We'll say, I know I don't think they're on the call, but we'll say Harvest Jazz and Blues Festival. So Harvest has, they would have their list of who has bought tickets last year. So they would have that complete list, and maybe it's midway through their ticket season. So they also would know who has bought tickets. So who's purchased the last year and who's already bought for the upcoming year. So you see where I'm going on this, is your include your complete database, but exclude those who've already converted. You don't want to bother people that you don't want to bother people who have already bought. They might not buy from you again. So, and like I said, you're wasting your money. So there's different ways to be able to use this include exclude. And like I said, just think that through. They're two separate email lists. You can put both in, and it could even be as well include, you could put your whole database, but exclude, well, exclude fans would be another spot, or it could even be exclude, I'm not sure why you do it, but exclude people who visited the website in the last 30 days or something. It's every option is there. So now with that, I had mentioned before there was a new, the engagement custom audience. That was that blue button that I said was, that I just noticed when I was creating this webinar. So what that is, so you would go in again under audiences. I apologize, I second guessed whether I should put this screen in, but I thought, what the heck. So every time it's the same, so all tools, then click on audiences. So then it's this one here, engagement on Facebook. So these are people that you've already engaged with in some way, shape, or form. I think it's particular to videos, if I remember correctly, but it's now, they've already seen something you've done. You can now reach them a second time. So it's video. The lead ad wasn't anything that wasn't anything we saw we could use for, but it's definitely, by all means, go in and explore. Same thing for Canvas. We don't actually use Canvas on Facebook, so it wasn't an example I can provide you with. If Canvas, for anybody wondering, is it's for photo creations. You can use it to create your edit your photos and whatnot, which then can be used for ads. So I would definitely recommend investigating Canvas for sure. It's on my radar. We just haven't gotten to it yet. So in this situation, video, so think about this. Remember the conversation we had at the beginning about live video and the weight that Facebook's giving it. So all of a sudden now, you can now engage people who have viewed for 3 seconds, 10, et cetera, going down the line. And you can read, those are people who have already been engaged with your product. Now you can give them another little nudge. So how it works is really easy. Ultimately, you choose your video, and then just follow the instructions. So as simple as that. I'd be remiss not to talk about lookalike audiences, although I will tell you in full disclosure, we don't use them. Lookalike audiences is something really, so if you're sitting on this call and you don't have any plans to do a website pixel, you have no email lists of any kind, and your fan base is very small, and you just, yeah, I guess it doesn't really matter in terms of your fan base, but you're looking for another alternative. It's a lookalike audience, so ultimately it's exactly what it sounds like. It will create a second audience based on your current Facebook page. So you're just going in under audiences, create audience. So this would be in your ad create tool. So you're going to create the audience. So you match the page to it. In this situation, we've chosen Fredericton Tourism again. The disappointing part about this is you can't drill down further than country. So you can just imagine, unless you're selling something or wanting to promote to a national scale, this really isn't an option. And that's, like I said, we don't use it. So yeah, so there's lookalike audiences, so I can check that one off. But but let's get back to some ad creation fun. So so with all that, so we've gone over custom audiences, what you can do with everything. Now let's go and use some of that and create some ads. So in the Ad Create tool, we've chosen a different objective in this time, and it's that we want to send people right straight through to your website. So before we actually get to it, though, let's kind of look at those objectives for a moment so you can see. So there's for awareness. We went to there's boost your post, promote your page, reach people near your business, which I will tell you I didn't go through that one today in this example, but it would be something that you might want to consider. Increase brand awareness. Under consideration, send people to your website. Then there's other ones of get installs for your app. If you're doing events, raising awareness, video views, etc. There's all sorts of different objectives, which obviously get updated fairly, or Facebook will add new ones to this. So so there's all sorts of choices. What I've stuck to today are pretty much the most common ones. So I didn't want to overwhelm, but yeah. So for this one, send people to your website. So that custom audience, on the first example that we ran through, we left that blank, and I just picked Fredericton, period. So on this one, I'm going to choose some of the custom audiences that we've created, or that you could see here. So first off, the first arrow is the email list. So that's our, as you can see, it says MailChimp there. We've named it Travel Deals and Reasons to Visit. That's just how we name our email list. So so I've chosen everybody who is on that email list. As well, I've chosen everybody who has visited the website. So which gives us, if you can see on that bottom right, a potential reach of 31,000. So thought I'd have a little bit more fun in the situation, and I also chose, so if you can see there on the bottom left, there's a little button that says location. So I've clicked on that so you can see what your options are. Everyone in this location, people who live in this location, people recently in this location, or people traveling in this location. So I've clicked people traveling in this location. So once I click on that, it does affect the number. So keep in mind this screenshot is taken at the 31,000 is based on our email list and our website. Then I clicked on that button. So that doesn't reflect people traveling in this location. This does. So that brought it down to 1,000. So you do have to be careful in terms of your how much you want to define that audience. So in this situation, I'm good with it. I'm specific. I'd have a specific message that I want to promote. So I want to reach the 1,000. I'm happy. So continuing on. So actually, before I continue on, I wanted to give this fun example. So it's more of under those locations of people where I had read through the examples of people recently in this location, traveling in, etc. As you can see on the very top, I've written people recently in this location. It doesn't have to be Fredericton. So think about this for a second. When I looked to see who was going to be on this webinar, I saw that the marathon was one of them. So, and that there was a run this past weekend. So what I've done is the run was Legs for Literacy, and it was in Moncton. So went to see where the start line was. It was at 750 Main Street. So you can actually, with Facebook, pinpoint to a specific location. So I've chosen 750 Main Street, and I've gone with a radius of 10 miles. You can decrease that or increase it, whatever works for you. So I've gone with 10 miles, and I've just randomly chosen an audience of 21 to 65. I don't know what the marathon's specific audience is, so I've just gone fairly broad, gender of all. And then I've done a little bit of targeting of putting half marathon, long distance running marathons. So you can see there on the right, it gives me a potential reach of 23,000. So in this situation for the marathon, they have an audience. I would probably drill that down to maybe 1 mile radius around that location. But we've drilled it down to the exact audience that they're looking for. They're looking for half marathon running, people that are interested in all that, people that were in that location because they just ran the race. There's a great opportunity to be able to reach your target market and at a very low cost. And this is without the website pixels. This is without the email marketing, etc. This is just a unique way of being able to look at reaching your audience. I will tell you this, we do the exact same thing for Fredericton Tourism. We'll, if there's a high profile spot, for example, the downtown, we'll run ads of, you know, a 10-mile radius of that, or could even be a 50-mile radius of that, of people that are visiting the location. That if I remember correctly, and I don't think I have a screenshot to show this, there's actually even a default of people that are in this location that are 200 kilometers from home. It's a tourism dream, but there'd be all sorts of different ones too that can work for from a business perspective as well. But I just wanted to give you an example once again of just all that you can see, some cool things that you can do with this system. And obviously too, we're only just scratching the surface. I'm available for Q&A after this, but as well, if you have any, if you want to reach me offline, that's fine as well, just to pick my brain. So we do have one question. I'm going to jump into this one. Just if I was presenting my company in Toronto, I could use this to draw people in that area to attend our presentation? Yes. Absolutely, Shannon. In fact, too, I'll tell you an example. When WestJet was, when we were about to announce WestJet, we'd partnered with with Fredericton Tourism, we partnered with the airport, and I was tasked with reaching expats who were originally from Fredericton and now live in Alberta. So they said, is there a way to be able to reach them on Facebook? So think about that. I can't just pick Calgary, or I can't just pick Fort McMurray and Hope. I had to actually find expats, like people that were originally, and it's possible. It was a great campaign. It did really well. So yeah, you can absolutely drill down. A great question, Shannon. So continuing on, so we're still creating the ad. I apologize, I'm awful at rambling. So the image. So this one is a different sized image than the promote page image. So as you can see here, 1200 by 628 is what you need. So it happens to be exactly the one that we're using. And we've put the information in. You can control the text on the top. You can control, so that looking for some spooky fun, etc. That's what I've just written in. I've put that in. The Halloween fun, 15 plus things to do in Fredericton. Once again, written that in. So I can control any text that I want to put in there. The one thing is, actually, no, I was about to say you can't change it after it goes live, but you can. Isn't that great? So, so yeah, so there's the ad. We're all set to go. We've got the audience, and there. So now what I want to do was I want to provide you with some Facebook examples. I always love, it's one thing to be able to go through all of these slides and how-tos, but to really kind of drill down and get some Facebook examples is fun. And so first off, driving traffic to your website. So this would be the example that we just kind of did for the Halloween. So it's one of those types of ads. So you can see this one from Destination Halifax. They've chosen a different call to action of learn more. Now, excuse me, I have to actually reread my tip to make sure. Think about continuing that campaign with a targeted ad to your website audience. Exactly. So in this situation, so you've taken your and this is why web pixels are so important, though. So you've done your Facebook posts, and then so you've gotten them to your page. Then it's so you're seeing here what they're interested in. This one, what intrigued them was fresh cuisine. So the next logical step Halifax would do is to then push another ad through to them. Maybe it's like a week later or something. That would be anybody who's actually landed on that page on their website around cuisine. So keep that going, kind of thing. This I liked. It's contests, but it's also kind of being sneaky. So one thing I covered on my last webinar was what we do. I learned this in a webinar myself one day, was Facebook's free. Yeah, no doubt. But what if all of a sudden one day they decide to start charging you for it? So in our situation, we're we're getting closer to 25,000 fans. If we all of a sudden lost those fans, we'd have to start over. So this thought came over a couple of years ago was, okay, we need to actually build a strategy of getting those fans contact information. So we started to do a lot more contests, which then provides us with email lists and just other ways that we can reach our fans. But and as well within that, and where I'm going with this, is that we segment. So we know which ones of our fans are interested in based on our email list: heritage, nature, culture, culinary, outdoor, family. We've got quite a few lists that quite a few segments now. So what Nova Scotia is doing is a really kind of intriguing way is they're trying to get the data for their contest entries, but they're also trying to segment. So it gives you all sorts of different options for email marketing, but also it'll give them 2 different email lists to be able to target those who are more of the canoeing versus log rolling, like one's a much more high energy activity than the other. So newsletter sign up, my God, don't forget about that. Cross promoting through all of your social media platforms is important. So you can do an ad for a newsletter sign up. In this situation, you'd want to be attached to a email provider. So like I said, we use MailChimp. There's also Constant Contact, different ones out there. Facebook makes it really easy to set it all up, and yeah. So once again, you're pushing out there. In a situation like this for a newsletter sign up, I would probably go a little bit broader in the sense of for a Fredericton business, you could go Fredericton and then some interest based around your business. Why not put them both together? So a sign up and a contest. In this situation, as you can see too, they've done there's an incentive attached to it as well, so which is done fairly well. Now, a lot of people don't know that you can do this. In this situation, so first off, here's an ad from Discover St. John. I meant to Google to see what this campaign was. This was last fall that I'd grabbed this ad. But Win with Tourism St. John. So what you do is if you click on the top right hand, you see that little arrow that's pointing down. If you click on that, it'll actually tell you why you're seeing the ad. So this works on all desktop, phone, iPad, etc. So in this situation, I thought it was interesting. So it's obviously they're trying to reach people 18 and older who live or were recently near Montreal. I was when it worked perfectly. I was away when I saw this ad. But this goes back to your question, Shannon, as well. Facebook is great at being able to target. They're also transparent. So users are able to find out exactly how did they find me. So here you go. So next time you see an ad, by all means, click on the right-hand corner so you can get a little bit more info if you're curious. Carousel ads. I didn't actually touch on any of these within the Ad Create tool. We don't use them ourselves yet. I don't find them as clean. They're a little busy, but at the same time, if you're trying to get a couple messages out, this would be an opportunity to do so. So the carousel ad, it's in the Ad Create tool. You're just choosing that option, and then as you saw, Facebook will tell you what size the ad has or the image has to be able to create it. Otherwise, it's the same as any other ad. So this one, I've seen 2 Fredericton businesses doing this example. So I wanted to be able to pull it up, and in fact, because as tourism, we weren't able to do it ourselves, so I had to ask one of the businesses what this was all about and how they were able to get it. So as you can see here, Robert Simmons has a post up, but underneath they're able to actually show their products, and it makes it that much easier to be able to sell. So what I found out was it's actually because they're doing it through Shopify. So obviously Facebook, maybe Facebook owns it, I don't know. So Facebook allows it to be very easy to be able to promote that way. So if you're a business or you know somebody who uses Shopify, there is an extra feature there that's available. So in this one too, I had a little bit of fun, and I clicked the right-hand corner because I'll generally do that to be able to see some information. So So here's what I got. This is a screenshot because I'm pretty sure I must have done this from my desktop computer. Robert Simmons is trying to reach people 18 years and older who live or were recently near Marysville. Now you know a lot more about me. So now what I wanted to show here, though, was you can manage your ad preferences. So as it says there, take control over the ads you see. So I can pinpoint that Facebook will do it for me, as we all are aware when we start seeing ads on the side of Christmas presents or anything that you've been shopping for, etc. Facebook is they're going to push those ads out to you. If you want to override that, or even see if you can, I've never tried this personally, is you can go into your manage ad preferences. And then, as you can see as well, it's sticking with Facebook in full transparency. They have a information about this advertiser, so Robert Simmons Clothing. I hate the bottom button. I hope nobody ever clicks on it, but there is the opportunity to then hide all ads from Robert Simmons. They would never know that it's being done. So, but yeah, Facebook wants to make it as easy as possible. If people don't like ads, they want to make sure people can sub out. The other thing that's worth noting too, I guess, on the Robert Simmons Clothing is it also makes it easy to like the page if you don't currently like the page. So as you can see there, I already did. So it's so it gets the thumbs up. So let's go back to where we started. So that boosted ad example. So everybody remembers the screenshot. So when we talked about at the beginning, I said the targeting. Targeting wasn't bad. I mean, you can actually target your fans, your friends, age, demographic. But let's try it now using the Ad Create tool. So yes, you can boost ads with the Ad Create tool. So you've got that option right there. This is actually where I said that it was easy to do boosting ads, really easy on Facebook. You see it's really not bad at all to do it through the Ad Create tool as well, because most of the work is done. So you choose boost your posts. Then you can check you can choose your audience. In this one I chose website visitors, but I wanted to be able to show in terms of locations. You can actually also drill it down to, you can go to the city, or you can choose your province, or you can choose your country. But in this situation, I've chosen different provinces as well as Maine for locations. You can see an include there. There's also, if you clicked on that little bottom, or that little arrow, it could change to exclude. So for example, maybe you don't want to reach, maybe you don't want it to go into the US, or maybe you have something and you don't want it shown in Prince Edward Island, for example. We did an ad campaign that it was specific to New Brunswick residents. So when we prepared the ad, we made sure that we put the exclude on for all the other locations. This would be great too if you have a coupon code or anything that you want to do and you really want to pinpoint exactly who gets it. Don't assume just because, for example, sticking with the coupon code, if you choose that you only want Frederictonians to get it, don't assume that because you've just chosen Frederictonians that other people won't, because if it's shared, etc., it'll still get to them. So choose exclude and then put in those locations or put in those provinces, countries, etc. So yeah, that's a great function. And then I've put it to age 24 to 54 and all gender. So this is sticking with, this is a boosted, we're doing the boosted post with the Ad Create tool. So, and this is where I said it gets very easy. So on that page, on the next page, I choose which Facebook page or which Facebook account I'm going to use. So Fredericton Tourism one. And then it gives me the second arrow, it gives me a list of posts that I can choose from. So as you can see here, it's some of the most recent posts we did. There's one there that's called Hungry, caption this photo. You can see there's a little arrow, danger sign for the sake of a triangle. And that's because the resolution on that photo isn't good, so they're recommending not to do that one as an ad. But so anyway, I've chosen which one, which is this fall photo. The information is put up, and the little green button, which doesn't actually come up in the screenshot, I would literally click on that, and the ad is up. Now, I will say this though, as a disclaimer, and this works for boosted posts no matter which way you do it, whether it's through Facebook or through the Ad Create tool. The moment you boost that post, you cannot edit the post. I thought maybe that rule had changed yesterday, but I just went in to double check it this morning, and it has not changed. Once it's boosted, you cannot change. So, for example, in this one, oh, Fredericton, if I want to put an exclamation mark after it had already been boosted, I'm out of luck. So just be cautious of that before you boost something, that it is exactly what you want, because you can't edit it. So, and with that, that's it, folks. So I hope that I hope you're able to take away some cool tips and tricks. There's also, like I said, there's all sorts of different audiences, people that you can reach. My biggest takeaway that I would say on this is try to drill down. You've either converted them already, or they've shown interest in your product, whether it's signing up for emails, liking your page, visiting your website, etc. If you have limited advertising funds, then that is where you need to focus. You'll get the best return on investment. So I hope that this was a help to you. I've included my Twitter and Instagram of how you can reach me through that as well. If there's anything further I can help you with, by all means, the Fredericton Chamber of Commerce would have my contact information, and I will provide them as well with my slides. And so I hope that that helps you, and hope it's inspired you to advertise on Facebook. And the recording will also be available online probably within the next day or so. So, so with that, I will turn this over to Krista.
Wow, Stacy, that was awesome. Thank you so much. We really appreciated all this great information. Now we have to go and digest it and figure out how we can apply it to our own Facebook pages. As a thank you to you, we're going to be making a donation in your name to our scholarship fund. And we'd also like to once again thank the University of Fredericton for sponsoring our Lunch and Learn webinar series. So again, thank you, Stacy, and everyone have a great day. Thanks for tuning in.